Today, I'm actually going to be joined by somebody who has passed their CMAP exam, and they're going to share their experiences of what it was like after that, how they got a job, what it's been like to transition into from an employed to a self-employed role. They're just going to share their experiences, and I know a lot of you will get a lot of value from it, so I'm very excited. So Erin, you qualified CMAP. What I want to talk about today is what's happened to you after that, because everybody who watches this part of the channel and this idea of becoming a mortgage advisor, becoming a mortgage broker, becoming regulated, CMAP seems to be the definitive end, and then it's like, and now what? So I'd love to hear your story from when you got qualified through to where you are now.
To be fair, I didn't really have that much of a plan of sort of where I wanted to be, or what I specifically wanted to do. I knew that I was an operations mortgage trainer at the time. And I guess really my hope was to go into regulated mortgage training or into a regulated role with the building society that I was working with. But unfortunately, through the time that I was doing my CMAP, nothing was really coming up. And I knew that once I'd put myself through the painstaking ordeal of the exams, that I really wanted to use it. So I did want to wait. I wanted to work with the company that I was working with at the time. But there was also a guy that I'd followed for quite a while that used to work for the company that I used to work with. And he was always on my social media. It was one of those people that you just always see pop up. And I actually came out of my CMAP 2 exam, having passed, I think it was like 3 out of the 4 units, and felt a little bit like on cloud nine, like, oh my gosh, I'm actually nearly there now. Nipped on Instagram just to see what was going on in the world. And he'd put on a post saying that he was looking for mortgage advisors, self-employed. I've been employed my whole life. I've never known self-employed really. So that was a really scary thought. But it was a guy that I knew and trusted and had seen his brand grow from just him and his wife to taking on sort of people left, right, and centre. So yeah, I didn't really have a plan, and I thought, well, if it's not working out with the company that I'm working with, then let's just ask him. Let's just see what he says and see what it looks like. And I did. I had a call with him and just sort of got a bit more of an idea of what it might look like. And it looked good. It looked really good. And I was a bit like, oh, I think I'm going to have to do this. And yeah, it was really scary, but now I'm a self-employed mortgage broker.
How have you found that shift from employed to self-employed? And obviously you don't have to go too deep into the kind of income of it. I'm not interested in that, so to speak. But what I get asked a lot is, a lot of people DM me and go, I am in an employed role. I'm doing my exam, which is literally yours. I'm doing these exams, but I have a certain level of commitments I have to stick to, and now everything I can find is self-employed, and I won't be able to guarantee that income. How did you overcome that? How did you overcome that, like both mentally or actually,
Yeah, the company that I'm working with at the moment, they are fantastic. And he was really, really, really supportive to start off with. He's been in my position where you go from employed to self-employed. And he basically said, you need to have a good chunk of savings behind you. You need to be in a position that potentially for around about 3 months, you're going to earn the bare minimum, if anything. So you do have to be quite sort of mentally strong in that as well. I budget everything. So I could tell you to the pound and pence of anything that's going to go out of my account. So
Good.
For me, that was okay because I knew how much I needed to live for a minimum of 3 months. And I also knew that I needed to go out and get some clients as well, and how I was going to do that. Because I think that's the main thing is that, even, ourselves being poorly at the moment, we've got no one that we can ring up and just go, oh, I'm not coming in today, I'm full of cold. there isn't any of that. So you
Oh, it's
have to sort of,
stressful, isn't it? That's the one thing. Like even now, like I have a very successful coaching business, and have done for many years. I get sick and I'm out for a week, and it's terrifying. And you just do the
yeah,
calls, and you just go to bed like, oh, I'm dying,
yeah,
because when you don't see people, it actually is money. It's real
yeah,
money. Like that's the bit that's scary. Like I look at it every person that cancels that I've had to cancel on. I'm like, wow, that's a X amount down the drain. It's really, really stressful.
yeah. And it's hard, and it's really hard to get out of that bubble of remembering that like you do have to have a break. You know,
Yeah.
there's some days where like I've been with a client and I've been like, yeah, of course, let's go ahead, let's do this for you. It's like everything's all singing and dancing. And then after that call, I go off to bed for an hour or so because I just need to recharge my batteries, which you probably couldn't do in an employed job. Like still earn money, but also go for a nap at midday. um, so yeah, so it is difficult because you get those challenges of like if you're sick or anything like that, like a lot of the time if you still want to earn money you do have to turn up. But the flexibility of it as well is incredible, because like I say, I can, if I am absolutely shattered from this painstaking cold,
Yeah.
um, then like you can go for a nap or like I can go for a walk or something to get some fresh air and just recharge, like whatever that might be. As long as my diary hasn't got something in it, I could start work at 11 o'clock in the morning and finish at 9 o'clock at night, or vice versa. You know, there's a group of the people that I'm working with at the moment. We all work completely different hours, and that's the beauty of self-employment as well. That you know, as much as 9 to 5 often works for people, you know, if you have kids or you have other commitments or anything like that, you literally plan your diary and you work to how you
Yeah.
want to work. Um, and it is really hard because, especially like those first couple of months, going self-employed again, I was really lucky to work with my lad mortgages that have provided me with some leads, that has, like I say, built my confidence and my knowledge. Going self-employed just on my own, I don't think I would have done that because it is really hard to get those leads and to generate that business. Um, so working with a company that is well established and you know is happy to pass you over those leads, it was a huge help to get me set up. And now I'm starting to get a few more of those leads myself.
Yeah.
Um, it's starting to grow a little bit quicker now, which
Would you say,
is good. You just
gone.
have them.
I was going to dive in. I was going to say, would you say that one thing I can hear with what what you did was you're in a very comfortable position in regards to where you were. So you were like, I mean, this is why I want to ask your kind of opinion on this is you're in a comfortable situation. You're employed, you know, you're employed, you've got a good, oh bless you, you're dying. We're both dying of cold and every time I talk. So you're in you're comfortable situation, you're employed, you want to go into training in a regulated environment. But then that opportunity comes along, Facebook, Instagram comes up, whatever, and you see the post and you're like, oh my gosh, they're hiring. Would you say that you being proactive in that way and pursuing something, even though it's completely outside of your comfort zone, do you think that you would encourage others to do the same? Because I get a lot of people who ask me going, I'm employed, but I also want the employed role. And it's very hard to find employed roles in mortgages. You're only really going to go to Connells, Countrywide, like L&C or a bank, and very few banks or building societies now even have mortgage advisors. So it's if you really want to do this career, you do have to go self-employed at some point. Would you
Yeah.
would you recommend somebody take that kind of proactive approach and dive in like how you did? Because from what your story here, it's very forward. You have very much gone like, I mean, you hadn't even finished your exams. You're at CMAP 2. So it's an element of going, all right, cool, let's do it. Seems very left field from what you're saying. So how would you encourage other people to be the same?
Yeah, I would 100%. Like I say, it does takes balls, I guess.
Mm.
You do have to just trust yourself a little bit as well in that. Um,
Charlotte said that you said it's not for fannies. That was her. That was her on the actual show. That's why we're talking. She said, I've got this client, and she said, starting, because the learning curve is like a hockey stick learning curve. Like it's baptized through fire for sure.
Yeah, you do have to be so mentally strong to do it, 100%. Not sure necessarily I said the word fannies, Charlotte, but thank you so much.
That's a word that Charlotte, I could think it's more of a Charlotte word.
But yeah, it really isn't for the weak. And it's a lot of hard work. You will, like those first couple of months, I was going to networking events here, there, and everywhere. I was leafleting my whole village. I I was posting sort of like every day, like twice a day sometimes, which I still do a lot of that, just not as intensely now, because I found what works for me and where I'm getting my clients. But yeah, you do have to be so prepared for the challenge, and you have to be prepared that it isn't a 9 to 5. Self-employed isn't 9 to 5, and sometimes you might start at 8 o'clock in the morning, and you might still be working till 8 o'clock at night. But then some days you might have like the day off to go and do something with your family or something, and you balance it out. You really do. But I think for me, because the company that I now work with, I knew of them, and I know the couple that own the company. That was something that attracted me to them. But I also saw them all over social media all the time.
Yeah.
Again, that's something else that attracted me to them. I knew that they were a good company because they were consistently on
Out
my
there,
on my
the
radar.
branding was very, very clear and very obvious.
Yeah, and that was something that was too important to me as well, that I didn't want to join a company and just be like, well, you're a part of my life mortgages now, good luck.
Yeah.
I've got a fantastic support system around me with my social media, with my cases, with my development, everything. And I think when you think about your career and where you want to go, there's probably quite a few people out there that probably could just pick it up, get their own clients, go self-employed, bam, off you go. But I think for me, and probably for quite a lot of people, you do need that starting support. You're going to get things wrong, and you're going to probably need a bit of hand holding. So just do a bit of research on the company if you don't know them beforehand. What are they going to do for you, and like what do they want from you, I guess. Because that was a big thing that when I spoke to the owners of My Love Mortgages, of like, what are your expectations from me in this? Because if you're wanting me to earn like, 6 figures in the next sort of 12 months, is that going to be reasonable? Is that something that I need to be stressing about? So yeah, I would guess my main thing is that self-employed is amazing. I do think it is one of the best things that I have done. But just make sure that the agreement that you're going into is right for you as well, because someone else that comes in, it might not be the right thing for them. They might want more like brand flexibility or anything. But I'm really happy just being Erin Morgan of My Love Mortgages. Yeah. But some people want to be just like Erin Morgan. So it depends sort of what you're after, but that leap from employed to self-employed is scary. You do have to plan a lot for it, and you have to be prepared for really grafting. But when you've got an amazing supporting network around you, it does make it that little bit easier. And yeah, I don't think I would change the course that I've gone on now.
If you want to learn how to become a fully competent advisor, meaning you can give advice, then check out this video here where I sat down with the head of training from Connect for Intermediaries, and we spoke about how you get competent advisor status straight after getting your CeMAP exams. Definitely not one to miss.